All right, let's dive in. We're going to tackle a huge question that pretty much every developer is facing right now. How do you actually get generative AI into your microservices without, breaking everything? It's a big deal, so let's get right to it. So everybody's rushing to cram Gen AI features into their apps, right? But for us, the architects, the question isn't if we should do it, it's where does it actually go? Because if you stick this new piece of intelligence in the wrong spot, you're looking at bottlenecks, surprise bills, and a maintenance headache you wouldn't believe. Seriously, this one decision can be the difference between success and a total mess. And look, let's be clear, this isn't just about making another API call. Plugging in an LLM is a fundamental architectural decision. The choice you make right here, right now, is going to have ripple effects on your system's speed, your budget, and how complex it is to manage for years. Okay, so where does the AI actually live? What's its home in our system? The good news is we're not starting from scratch. There are basically three core patterns that people are using. Let's walk through each one so you can figure out which makes the most sense for you. This table kind of lays it all out for us, right? It's all about the trade-offs. On one hand, you've got the AI gateway, which gives you a ton of separation, but it's also more complex to set up. Then on the other extreme, you can just slap it into your API layer, super quick, but you lose almost all that nice isolation. And then there's the sidecar, which is a nice middle ground. Let's dig a little deeper into what each one actually means. First up, the AI gateway. Think of this like a bouncer or a central command post for all your AI stuff. It's one dedicated service that handles every Gen AI request. This is awesome because you get amazing control over things like prompts, caching, security. It's all in one spot. But, and it's a big but, what's the downside? Well, it can become a single point of failure, and you're adding an extra network hop, which means a bit more latency. All right, next we have the sidecar pattern. Picture this. You have your main service running in a container, and you attach a little sidecar container right next to it that holds all the AI logic. They talk to each other locally, which is super fast. Great for when you need low latency. What's really cool about this is you can add AI smarts to an existing service without ever having to change its original code. It keeps things nice and clean. And finally, we've got the most straightforward, some might say brute force approach. Just bake the Gen AI logic right into one of your existing microservices. Hey, it's definitely the fastest way to ship a new feature. But I've got to warn you, this creates a really tight coupling. What does that mean? It means it's going to be a real pain later if you want to swap out the AI model or even just update your business logic. Okay, so we've figured out where the AI is going to live, but that's only half the battle. Now we have to decide how our other services are actually going to talk to it. And trust me, this decision is every bit as important for how your system performs and, well, whether it falls over or not. Really, you've got two main choices here. If you need an instant answer for a user, think of a chatbot, for example, you've got to go with a synchronous API call. The user asks, the AI answers, they get it right away. But for anything that can wait a bit, like summarizing a long article in the background, you're much better off going asynchronous. Using something like a message queue makes your system way more scalable and a whole lot tougher. And this is something you absolutely cannot forget. LLMs, they're not magic. They can be slow, they can time out, they can just plain fail. So having a solid plan for error handling, things like retries, circuit breakers, timeouts, that's not a nice to have. It is non-negotiable for any system that's going into production, period. Okay, let's say you've designed this beautiful architecture. It's all on the whiteboard. Now what? How do you know if it's even working correctly once it's live? And maybe even more importantly, how do you make sure it's not quietly burning a hole in your company's wallet? The answer to all of that, of course, is observability. At a bare minimum, you've got to be tracking these three things. First, latency. Simple enough, how long are your users waiting for an answer? Second is token usage. This one's critical because tokens equal money. This is how you track your costs. And third, and this one's the real challenge, is the quality of the response. Is the AI actually spitting out useful stuff? You might need to get creative here, maybe with user feedback buttons or some automated checks to really know if it's working. So, we've got our design, we've got our monitoring in place, everything looks good. Now for the scary part. How do we actually roll this out to real people without, everything catching on fire? The key here is you don't just flip a switch, you do it in phases. Step 1, use feature flags. Turn it on just for your internal team first. This gives you a safety net and easy way to turn it off. Next, once you've worked out the kinks, you run A/B tests. This gives you real data from real users. How does the new AI features stack up against the old way? And then finally, when you're feeling good about it, you start a gradual rollout, maybe 1% of traffic, then 5%, then 20%, all while you're glued to those observability dashboards. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that a good Gen AI integration isn't about chasing the latest shiny tech. It's about being deliberate. It's about thoughtful architecture. Your goal is to build a system that's not just smart, but also tough, and crucially, something you can actually see and understand. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. We've spent all this time talking about the how, the patterns, the protocols, how to deploy it safely, but the real challenge that's left for you is to figure out the why. What's the actual business value here? What does this AI feature really do for your users or your bottom line? Because answering that question, that's how you'll know if you've truly succeeded.